This is your brain. And this
is your brain on top.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? It's me. Again, it's been a long time, but in my defense, Kingdom Hearts happened, so, I had to be somewhere. Yeah. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm not going to fucking beat around the bush here. Finished all of them, minus Chain Memories, because I'm not familiar with that game as well, so I didn't want to be like, oh, hey, let me waste a bunch of time trying to learn how this game works, because Lord knows I needed to do that with a lot of other things, like 3D and all that, but we'll get to that. So I went through all of them in order. 3 came out, I guess is what this brings the whole thing together, is I was trying to get through all of them leading into 3 so that I would kind of prepare, because I haven't done like a timeline playthrough. I don't know what else you would call it, I guess, but kind of doing them in chronological order within the story, but not the order they were released, because they're not released that way. So it's a little confusing. If you're new, I would recommend just looking up when they came out and play them in that order, but I've already done that as playing them when they came out. So I usually, when I want to catch up to a bigger point, a bigger milestone in the franchise or whatever, I'll try to play them in their chronological order, and I really haven't done that since high school. And back then there were 3 games. So it's been a while. They put out a lot since then. So I was like, oh, all right, I'll do that, and we'll start with Birth by Sleep. I've played all of them obviously, but not going through all that. But I think, yeah, leading into Birth by Sleep, I had played all of them, but at that time it was just the 3. It was 1, Chain Memories, and 2. So I was like, all right, let me do it all this time. And I want to do them all on their hardest difficulty, because a lot of them I enjoy playing on the hardest difficulty, 1 and 2. But also, I think Birth by Sleep is pretty fun on the hardest difficulty, because it's kind of weird. It's kind of hard right at the beginning, and then really it's only Terra's first boss really tough, and then everything just goes downhill. It's way easier as you get better and pretty much abuse one command over and over again, which is Thunder Surge, and it's just a gap closer that makes you invincible, and it's pretty strong. So yeah, I attempt stuff like that. I was I'm gonna do it in that order. I'll play them all on the hardest difficulty. I'll skip Chain Memory just because I had slacked so hard playing Birth by Sleep, because it's kind of tiring. It's 3 stories of the same worlds. A lot of the same, you kind of see a lot of the same stuff in certain cutscenes because of characters, meeting up at the same time, or one cutscene starts moments after a character left. It's kind of very repetitive, and it's kind of boring to so I really slacked on that. It took me a full month to play that one, and then I got through the cutscenes of Chain Memories, which is 6 hours long, by the way. It's insane how much there is to watch, at least. So I definitely dodged a bullet there, and wasting time. I didn't realize it was that long, but it's incredibly long. And then I went to Street Fighter Over 2 takes place at the same time. That's parallel of the end of 1 and the very beginning of 2, so it takes place in that window. So then, but that's on the cutscenes on the disc that they gave you, the 1.5, or is that 1.5 or is it? Yes, on 1.5. It's just the cutscene for that. And I guess a month before, I'd watched Back Cover, which is the phone game movie that's supposed to set up. It sets up nothing but Lucio and the black box he's carrying and the Keyblade of the no-name Keyblade. It's just those 3 things. It's kind of stupid otherwise. It doesn't really do anything. It's kind of nonsense. I don't know. You can kind of skip that thing. I almost forgot it was even in there because it's so unnecessary. You just really watch it the one time, because all the promotional stuff for that was oh man, who's the traitor? What's going to happen? Who fucked up everything? And then nothing happened. You never find out. I don't know. It was really dumb. I don't know. They kind of reference it again at the end, the epilogue that they had to patch into Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's important enough to watch if you've never played the phone games and aren't familiar with the foretellers, just to understand who they are and what they look like, and kind of their names. Their names are all the 7 deadly sins, so they all sound weird, but it's not too difficult to try to just understand who they are and what they look like. That's really all you need for 3. And the box and Lucio and all that shit. The Master is a cool idea. He's also introduced in that, but he doesn't play a part in anything so far, so we'll see how that all comes together. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I had watched that a month. In November I'd watched that, and then late November, December played through Birth by Sleep. It was a long time. I wasted a ton of time. I streamed the whole thing too, so I couldn't just boot it up and play for an hour, because I was well, if I'm going to stream, I'm going to play for a long window of time. I'm gonna really grind it out. So I did like I won't do that. So then I did that, and then got to 1. I like 1 a lot. 1 is weird because it's like old, and it's very old, and it feels old. It's from 2002. It's like noticeably like kind of stiff, and like a lot of the combat feels almost like it's on a grid. Oop, knocked my mic away from my face. So it's like you kind of just go forward or left or right. It doesn't feel very fluid. It's very kind of like staticky. It's not actually on a grid, but it feels very like stiff. Like you go forward, or you can kind of turn. You don't. It's not like it doesn't feel like you're all. And maybe just because Sora's model is very like static in the way he does things. Like the animations are very stiff, so it feels kind of slower. But it's still like quick once you kind of get used to it and stuff like that. It's still like a fast-paced game, but it feels a little bit slower than like 2, for example. And so like I enjoyed that one though, because it was like weird. I hadn't played it in a long time. Well, no, maybe like 2 years or so, a year. I don't remember how long it's been since I played that one. And the last 2 times I've played it till like just get to the platinum and move on. So I wasn't really like trying to like enjoy it. I was just trying to get through it. So this time I was like, I'm gonna kind of take it sort of slow and enjoy the cutscenes again, and just kind of. It was weird. I was like getting all these like flashbacks of like being in like 4th grade, 5th grade playing this game. Like, oh my god, this is so weird, this is so fun. Like, oh, I remember this thing. I remember thinking this thing was like this, and this is how this used to work, but it doesn't. Stuff like that. So it was like kind of fun to explore that again. I don't know. It was a weird nostalgia rush. I'd be like, oh, I like this game so much. It's so fun. I'm having such a good time. And then get through the cutscenes of Chain Memories. Weirdly kind of cool. Like a lot of cool concepts. I almost want to go back and attempt regular Chain Memories, just like on normal or something, just to get like a feel for it. Because maybe it's not as bad as I remember it being. Everyone seems to like that one a lot. Like even like a lot of people I've talked to that are not like super fans have played all of them. Most of the time have played just that one and enjoyed it. So maybe there's more to that one than I think. And like I really like 3 Fight Over 2, but most people hate that one. So I don't know if I'm just confused and it's backwards, or maybe I'm right and everyone else is wrong. Who knows? But yeah, 3 Fight Over 2, adorable. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a cute little game. I don't know why, but I'm always so emotionally attached to those like 3 characters. It'd be Roxas, Shion, and Axel. Whenever they're like on screen in any of these games, their lives are always miserable. And then I'm always like very hurt. I'm like, oh, I want them to be happy. But like 2 of them aren't even like real people. Like Shion is like, she's a replica, which honestly is weird how little, like there's like, how important replicas played in 3. And like the concept that if you weren't familiar enough with like Chain of Memories and 3 Fight Over 2 and like that kind of thing that was going on within the organization, you would have like no idea what was going on, where this came from, because it's not like a big piece. It's like, oh, this is what Shion is, but we're not really going to go into what the replica program is. We're going to mention it and we're going to move on. It's weird. They handled that very strangely for how important it turned out to be, with like how that all like replicas work and how you bring people through time with a place to put the heart when they travel. It's a very silly thing. Well, like, it was weird how much it played a huge part in 3 and had like so weirdly little information leading up to it. It was odd. But I like 3 Fight Over 2 a lot. And I enjoy it. The music's really good too. I love Roxas and Shion's theme. They're just so sad. They're so somber, and everyone's like so depressed because like Shion and Roxas just want to be people. And they just want to be like around each other, and like the 3 of them, they all want to be friends and just be happy. But everyone's telling them they can't be because they're not people. Because that's what nobodies are weird. They're not people. They're not like a thing that you can. It's weird that everyone's like, you don't exist, but like they're literally standing there. So like it's a weird way to word that. Or like if you talked like a lot, like Sora says it too a couple times where he's like fighting a nobody. He goes, "You guys don't even exist." And it's like, but they're literally like, that's not what exist means. But it'd be better if you said that you're not supposed to exist, because that's kind of more accurate. It's just like the leftover shell of, and you become heartless or whatever. Your heart and body split for like, nobody. It's weird too, because the heartless is where the heart goes, but like it says heartless, but it's not heartless. It's actually the heart, and then nobody is nobody, but that's just the body. It's naming in this franchise is stupid. I don't know why it's so dumb, but it's very dumb, and kind of backwards. But that's weird. But yeah, they're often told like you shouldn't, and Shion really shouldn't exist because she's not anything but like what she's just like memories of Sora imprinted onto a replica. It's weird. And then they have to like get rid of her to wake Sora up. Like eventually the organization's like, you know what, we kind of fucked up this plan. If we want Sora to kind of come back to continue our Kingdom Hearts, he seems to kill Heartless way faster than these 2. And it's a little more efficient. Things aren't really working out. You know what, let's just get rid of these 2 And they're like, we got, like, it's weird. It's just like, nah, actually, that was a bad idea. I mean, it kind of helps, like, Vexen work out the whole organization thing, or the replica thing within the organization. But I love that game a lot. I like those 3 characters a lot. Like, even, like, Axel just showing up post that game, I'm always like, fuck yeah, Axel. Like, I'm, like, always, like, super into Axel. I'm like, Axel's this, or Axel Lee. Even though it's weird, in 3 at one point, he's like, just call me Axel. I'm like, but why? Why would you? Why? You're a person again. Just stop. It's weird. I don't know why he was like, when it changed still. Like, some people would still call him Isa, like, or not Isa. Isa's, Syx, Lee. The people still call him Lee after he'd be like, just go. It's weird. But they do kind of joke about that in 3D. But I'll get there. But yeah. So those 3, good times, kind of reminiscing. Mostly just the cutscenes for those 2. It took a long time to get through them. They're very long. I don't know why, like, Chain of Memories, the video I'd watched for Chain of Memories had some of the, like, text bubble chat, but some of that's kind of important, so I kind of understood why they would do that. And the whole video ended up being like 6 hours, or it's 4 hours for Sora, and then like an hour and a half for Riku's story. And the Riku story one was edited better. The Sora one was weird, and like they left a lot of unnecessary details in of like, sometimes there was like the cutscenes from like, or like the text bubble cutscenes from just like going to the worlds, and it's like you're just seeing the same stuff again. I don't know, like, so he kind of edited, he learned what not to do for the Riku one. It was way better. It was way more tight, but it was still kept like some of the important stuff, because there's a part at one point in Sora's story where he's explaining that like when him and Naminé were younger, he said he would defend her forever and put his toy Sora in the sky and was like, I'll keep you safe during this meteor shower or whatever. And then the Riku replica, who at the time they think is Riku, is like, no, I said that. But like that cutscene where he's like, no, I said that is like spoken. So like if you just watch a spoken cutscene, like a dialogue cutscene one, or I guess voice actor, that's better. Voice actor cutscene compilation, you would see that, and not the part where he's like, where Sora said that, where it puts that into context of like, wait, what do you mean I did that? So it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Chain Members is a bunch of cool ideas. I really like all of the organization members that are in that one. Marluxia, Larxene, Zexion, Lexius, and Vexen. Is that it for one? I think so. Oh, and Axel, I guess. But Axel's like in every one of them. Yeah, so I like that one. It was neat. That's why it kind of makes me want to go back, because I did enjoy like the story and stuff. But I remember the Vexen fight like walled me, and I was like, fuck this, I don't have time. Like back when I was in high school, I was like, fuck this, I don't have time. I'm not going to get back to this. So I didn't attempt it. That was the second time I had tried to play that game, and I got stuck again. I was like, you know what, I'm just done. I'm just going to move on. So that's why I didn't want to do it this time, because I was such on a tight time clock, and I was like, I'm just going to skip this one. So then I got to 2, and boy, what a video game. Oh, it's so good. It feels so good to play. I dream of that game sometimes. I'm like, oh, it's so good. Like when I was playing it, the very beginning Roxas part is like 2 hours long, maybe 2.5. If you don't skip the cutscenes. I've seen speedrunners do it in 15 minutes. It's just there's a lot of talking. So if you don't skip that stuff, it can take about 2.5 hours. And it's real slow. And Roxas feels really weird to play. And it's kind of annoying. And as soon as I switch to Sora, for some reason, they have actual different movesets. Similar, the same input, just hitting X or whatever. But like, Roxas's first overhead in the aerial combo is like really slow, and Sora's he uses one hand and just quickly hits it, and he goes so fast, it's so low, he can actually hit like shadows and stuff on the ground, like really any like low, like very short enemies rather. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! I was like, fucking, my mind was blown. I have it archived, I think, on my stream. I think of me like attempting that. I think I have all the archive shit saved properly. I don't know. It's on my computer. I know that. I could upload it somewhere if it's not there, but. Who wants to see me play Kingdom Hearts 2 for like fucking 4 hours to get to that part where it's like, oh, this is exciting. But once you got to play Sora, I was like, oh, here we go. And it started to feel really good, and it was just cool to play. Sora's awesome in that game. He's so fucking fast and fun. And like, I just love that like everything makes sense too. Like really early on, I had like a couple of build options. They were limited in terms of like which abilities I wanted on, and then what Keyblade possibilities I had, and which ones worked better for what situation or whatever. It was awesome. And like seeing how some of the Keyblades work together, I'm like, well, this one's not bad, but I like to play. I like playing this way where I'm more air. Like I was using the Hero's Crest, which is like has air combo boost. Is that the name of the ability? Where it makes the last hit, the finisher on a air combo, do more damage. I believe is what that does. And so like I was like, oh, I enjoy playing like air combat. So I was like, I'm gonna lean towards this Keyblade. So I it's like the third one you get, and I just kept it until I got the Decisive Pumpkin, which is one of the last ones you get. It's not till the second attempt or second run of worlds, because 2 is weird. You go to each world twice, and then stop by, or you go to each someone. So sometimes you don't get the Keyblade the first time, and you only get the second time. So like Halloween Town, you don't get any Keyblade when you go there, but you get a weapon when you go to the second time. And the second time through is like they're like a half hour. They're like way shorter. It's weird. You like show up, they're like, hey, this thing kind of happened. You're like, that seems like a thing the organization would do. Or in like Halloween Town's example, it's like, who knows? And something's happening. Weird. And then you just kind of solve the problem and you leave. It's like kind of odd how quick. Like you almost could have kept it all as one world and not really gone a second time, because they're all really short, like 15 to 30 minutes, 45 minutes max. I forget, like one of them was about 45 minutes it took me to get through the whole thing, and it was kind of weird, just like how quick you would just show up and be like, hey, how are we doing? All right, cool, I'm leaving. And it was, I don't know, it's kind of a weird choice. I see why they haven't really done that since, because it's weird to break it up, but you don't really know much about like the organization until about the halfway point when you would go a second time, so it kind of makes sense, it kind of doesn't. Weirdly too, for 2, most people would say the hardest fight is the Zoldan one and Beast Castle, and I agree, it's a very tough fight. But when I play it this time, I think I maybe hit once. I don't even know. I crushed him. I blew right through it. One shot at it. It was super easy. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And it's because I had done the data battle so many times because it was so hard. It is so brutal and so tough that I had just memorized, like muscle memory. Like I didn't remember what certain mechanics were, but he would do something and a sound cue would hit and my hand would just go and do the right thing. Like at one point you can, if you like parry him or block him with like reflect or something, he'll slow fall backwards, like in slow motion. He'll start falling backwards. And then you can use the reaction command learn, which you get from Dragoons, and basically just lets you use jump, but you can spam it. You can do up to save up to like 9 charges or something. And so that's how you kind of beat him in the data fight, because you can just get like 9 free super powerful hits on him real quick. And like I had hit him and it makes a very specific noise, and then my hand just immediately went to triangle. I mashed out like 7 of them immediately. I'm like, I totally forgot there was even a mechanic in this fight, but clearly my body knows that this is a mechanic in this fight, because I'm like got PTSD, like reaction, like quick, I don't know what it was. It was like so fast. The only thing I could remember is you can roll through or dash through his laser beam. That's the only thing I could remember. I remember this move being really brutal when I first played this, and when I learned the fight, I was like, oh, okay, this is actually a very easy thing to avoid and not a big deal mechanically. And so like that, I was like, all right, that'll do that. Everything else I just like somehow memorized miraculously. But the fight that gave me the most trouble in 2 was actually Scar, which is weird because I've never remembered Scar ever being tough ever, or even a problem in the slightest. And the tons of times I've played 2, the tons of times I've talked to people about 2, no one brings up Scar. But Scar absolutely dunked on me for like 15 attempts. I had to leave. I leveled up like once or twice and went back and like attempted. It was still super close. It was brutal. And like I kind of got why, because like cat form or lion form, whatever they call it, when Sora's a cat, he's fucking so slippery. I don't know why. He has like no traction when he runs around and stuff. So like quick movements is so difficult to like execute. If you want to like just slightly dodge something or quickly avoid something or whatever, it's really practically impossible, because the only like avoiding move they give you is like a run. So, and the run takes a second to charge up before it does anything. So if you don't know this hit's coming, you're dead. You're going to get hit in the face. Like it's really hard to like try to avoid things and like move quickly. And like I had to like make sure my items were set up, make sure everything was, I had they give you the Keyblade for that world right before that fight, and it had like MP haste on it or something. I was like, I need this so that I can maybe heal like an extra time, because like MP haste just lets when you use up your MP, it has to recharge, so like it just makes that recharge faster. And using Cure uses up all of your MP, so I was like, I need to have this so that I can try to avoid this as best I can, because I'm about to get dunked down real hard. If I don't. So I had to like redo my setup and figure stuff out. It was really, really hard, and I really hated being a cat. And I know that world is optional, and I now see why. I think they understood they kind of fucked up. And I'm like, this doesn't control super well, so we'll just make this optional, because it's a nightmare. It's so unfun. And like the other fight that kind of gave me some trouble was the Jafar fight in the second attempt in Agrabah. That's because you're on a carpet the whole time. So again, you lose kind of like mobility and dodge options. which I'm not a fan of. I enjoy those. That's why I build my character to like do that stuff well, and I get excited when I get abilities that let me do that. But really, he's really easy. Once I remembered how to do it, you just hit him in the stomach, and then he like bends over, you grab his tail and spin him up, and then he gets stunned. You can hit him in the head a bunch. But I couldn't remember. I was like, why is this fight so hard? What am I doing wrong? Because he has like 2 glowing hands, and he throws down like meteors and stuff. It's like kind of crazy if you don't do that. There's like a lot happening. But those are the only 2 fights that like actually gave me trouble. Everything else I like just cruised through. Some of the early fights I did, but I got through them because I got Mickey, which is cool. That's like that's like a mechanic that he can like save you if something goes wrong or like you die, he'll just like come back and get you. And what I didn't know is you like mash, I think it's like triangle or something. Sorry, you mash a button and you like build a charge, and that the more charge you have, the more health Sora has when he comes back. If you complete it, he has full health. If you get a little bit, he gets a little bit of health, whatever. So you can kind of like do certain things with it to like bring Sora back at different amounts of alive. But like I totally forgot that was like a part of that. Like when I first got there, like why is this taking so long to charge? What's going on? And at one point, Mickey died, and Sora came back with like half health. Like, oh, okay, well, that's amazing. All right, fuck me, I guess. But yeah, I think that's a fun mechanic. But like early on in the game, like I was getting kind of beat up by bosses, but then Mickey would come back and we'd work it out. And then like after about the halfway point where they have like the Battle of 1,000 Heartless or whatever, I don't know what it was. I don't feel like I got anything or what. Maybe I leveled up just a certain point, but I became an unstoppable killing machine. I was so fast, and like maybe my own ability got like back on track or something. But I was so unkillable. I moved so quickly. I had everything I needed. Everything was amazing, and it was just the greatest time of my life. I had so much fun. As soon as I hit that halfway point, I was like, "Oh, this is amazing! This is the best game ever!" Again, I totally remember why everything was great, and you just get like better and better. That's the nice thing too about that game. It's kind of annoying if you're doing a casual playthrough and you don't know like how the ability thing works, because a lot of them get locked behind levels or whatever. So if you're only going to like level 60 and then you beat the game, you might not get everything and actually see how it all kind of plays together. But I was like, fuck it, I'll get to 99. It takes like maybe an hour from wherever point. Like once you get to like the top of the castle for the world that never was, you can pretty much just do it from right there. It's really easy. It takes like not that long at all. I had gotten another experience boost doing something. I don't know if it was a level thing, I forget. Or maybe it was an event thing from whatever, but hit that point. I was like, this is cool. I'm going to just level hit the 99. Because you get the Gull Wing too, which is the Keyblade. You get from the 10-2 characters. They're like, what are they? I forget. They're like they're like fairies or something? I'm not really sure. They're very small and they fly, and I don't know. I'm not really sure what they're supposed to be. But you get like, they give you a thing where if you have your health under, what is it? Is it under half? I think it's under half. You get 100 more XP, 100% more XP. So like I was getting like 200% more or whatever. And like it was weird too. I was like trying to figure out like, because in crit you only get 60 health. So I had to make sure that like I had like I have a very small window to fuck up before I get hit. And like it was weird too. I didn't play most of that game with second chance or once more or whatever. Any of the like key defensive abilities. Leaf Bracer I had. But I think everyone gets that at 20. I think regardless of what weapon you take, you always get that at about 20-ish or something, 25, somewhere in there. So you get kind of early enough where it helps. What was I saying? So I didn't really need like a lot of the big abilities that like I always think you do, like a second chance, for example, where it lets you stay alive at 1 health if you get hit like a big hit. So I was like, I don't even need these. I'm moving so quickly. I'm like actually doing something super well. So I felt like I was playing well, and not really like requiring any specific key things. That which made me be like, oh, okay, I see how this game can be played at like level 1, and I understand like people, like I get why like this game is really well made, where you don't have to rely on these things to get through attacks because the game is imbalanced or some of these attacks are insanely overpowered or whatever. You can you have all the options on the table to get around certain things, which is cool. I think that was pretty neat. Yeah, it's fun. I just like that game a lot. It's a lot of fun. I stopped streaming it like halfway through because like a guy came in and he was like, hey, is this a spoiler-free stream? And I was like on my second attempt of like or Port Royal at that point. It's called the Caribbean now, which I don't understand why they changed it, but whatever. So I was like on my second run through there, and then he's like, oh, okay. And then just tried to dump a whole bunch of text. All I saw was a paragraph and a couple of keywords like Roxas Shion. And I was like, he's probably trying to fuck me over right now, so I had to block him, and then it all went away, and I was like, that's weird. So maybe I shouldn't be streaming this like a week out, because I had like a 1 week to go from like from 2 to get to 3D and then up to 3. Oh, and 0.2, I guess. So I was like, nah, I just won't fuck with this. And they didn't. It was nice. To kind of get through the games quicker. Because I could have just kind of booted up again. And I was like, all right, I'm going to just like crank out like a world or whatever. And I could just be like, it felt like I was going way at a much faster pace when I was doing it that way. But yeah, 2 is awesome. I'm going to go back and finish all of the post-game content and 100% that game. Because it's just a lot of fun. I enjoy like figuring out certain things. Doing like the cool cut, the Coliseum stuff in that game. Because they have like the Paradox versions, all of them, where they're way harder. I've done every Paradox thing except the Paradox Hades Cup, I think, which is like insanely long. It's 50 fucking rounds. It's so long. But it's fun. I enjoy doing it. I didn't know. So like for, what is it? Is it the Titan one? Whatever one lets you use the summons. I don't remember which cup that is. For like the journal, you have to get like high scores to like complete the section of the mission section of the journal or whatever. You don't just have to do it. You have to do it and get a certain score. And for whatever the one that lets you use summons, you need like 30,000 or something, a crazy high number. I think it's 30,000. And the way I've always remembered doing it, and I've always done it, is you use Stitch, and then his Stitch's summon, and then you use his like, are they limits? I don't even know what they're technically called, but like they have like an extra command that lets you kind of go into like a mode with them, or like there's like a special move with them. And his is like both you and him and Sora jump on the screen and play like a ukulele, and Sora plays the Keyblade, and then little point orbs drop out of the monsters. When I didn't know, and I was like, I did it like twice, and I was like, I'm not even coming close to 30,000. Like, what am I doing wrong? And then I like watched, or I read something like a forum back from like 2002 or something. Or not 2002, it'd be like 2006, 2007. And they're like, oh yeah, let Sora get to like critical health. And I'm like, that's weird. So I did that, and then Stitch always does the ukulele thing without, like he never stops. Because I think what it's supposed to be doing is every orb that's supposed to come out is like a health orb, so it's like his way of like trying to get you back to full health. Because if you run out of MP, he'll like go over to your health bar and lick it, and then it'll be full. But I think that's his way of dealing with your health, but it doesn't drop health orbs, so it like literally the entire round just play ukulele and it will just rain points. And like they also go up higher every time they get hit. And so like I don't even know if there's a ceiling in this Coliseum, because they were so high off the ground where I could like almost barely see some of them. Sometimes they would go so high. It was like, what is going on? I never knew this was a thing. It would just rain points, and I ended up crushing it. Like it was like no issue at all. I had to be like careful, because like that one too, you also have like a point total. You have like a health pool of points that you can lose, and then you have your own health pool, so you can like die from getting too much damage to your points. So every time you get hit, you lose X amount of points probably based on the power of the hit. I'm not really sure. So when I had to get myself to critical health, I had to like kill them and then go like a couple rounds still in critical health to then re-summon Stitch. So like it was kind of playing it close. But I still did the Hades one, and all the post game stuff. There's so many bosses and so much stuff going on in that game. It takes so long because there's just so much in Final Mix. So 2 is dope, and I can't wait to keep playing that game. It's so fun. I love it so much. And then I went on to watch the Recoded movie, because that's that letter that Sora gets right at the end of 2. He gets like a letter in the bottle. Kyrie runs up to him with it, and it's like, oh, what could this be? The next adventure. And it's just kind of like the message that the king sends him, Mickey sends him right after Recoded happens. So they kind of happen simultaneously, I guess. I don't know. But I've never played Recoded, and I only knew like Recoded things. I've seen like one cutscene that someone used in like a theory video. And usually I'm like, fuck theory videos, these are nonsense. But I was like, I'll give this a shot. Because it was like a cool idea of like, oh, Maleficent knows about the Age of Fairy Tales. I'm like, all right, you have my attention. And like she, in that cutscene, says directly she knows of the Book of Prophecies, which is kind of the crux of the whole phone game. It's where everything kind of comes from. All the missions you do, all the like, you know, going to these other worlds, it all is from like projections of the Book of Prophecies. And that cutscene is her being like, they had data versions of worlds from those journals, so the journals might be a little closer to that book that I've been told about. And like I was like, oh shit, so she knows. And like we later find out, now we know that she has been back that far, and she is 100% aware of all that stuff, and someone told her about all that stuff and all that nonsense. Whatever, which is cool. That we have all that, but the rest of Recoded's cutscenes are horrifically boring. Oh dear God, nothing of value happens in Recoded. There's like 3 things. It's that cutscene with Maleficent. There is a like a cutscene with Naminé and Sora. Like they're both data versions of them, and Sora thanks her, and then we find out about like the people that are connected to Sora's heart, and they're all hurting. And so like this challenge that this data Roxas gives him is like, can you handle the hurt? It was terrible. It was so dumb. Such a waste of time. Like there's like everything that's interesting happens in like the last like half hour of this 2 hour, maybe 3 hour movie of just nonsense. And like it's definitely better if it was broken up with gameplay probably, but just sitting there and watching the content straight through is mind-numbing. Because the worst part is you watch Data Sora go through, I think there's only like 5 worlds in Recoded or whatever. It's a small number, but you watch him go through these worlds, and then there's like a Data Riku who's just pretty much like a personified version of the book, of the journals themselves. So you talk to that Riku, and he goes, hey, let's go and basically just recap everything you just saw. And then the next hour is a literal like clip show of like, remember when we did this? I sure do. And it's like, yeah, I do. That was 10 minutes ago. Why are we watching this? It was really bad. It was like, I don't know if you could edit that any better. It was a nightmare. It was so painful to watch. It just never ended. And it was so long and just so dumb. It was the Secret Movie 2 is also in that, and it's really cool. And it's like young Xehanort coming back and seeing all of the people from the organization, the apprentices from the organization, they all became people again. They're all completed. So like young Xehanort and Brig are talking. Although he was called Zigbar in the credits, and I think he just is called Zigbar now. I don't think Brig is ever what we're going to refer to him as. Although we do have a new name for him. But that we won't get into until way later, when I go into 3. But yeah, so that was a really cool cutscene. But other than that, totally a waste of time. And then I went on to 3D, which, holy crap, what a nightmare. It's so bad. I remember enjoying it when I played it the first time. I was like, all right, it's a DS game. It's not, or a 3DS game, I guess, technically speaking, but it's not amazing, but it's doing what it can. It's a 3DS game. It's terrible. It's so fucking bad. Oh my goodness. I played it. First off, they don't let you play in critical, and I think that's because the game is so poorly balanced, it would be impossible, which is insane to me. It's insane to me. Oh goodness. It's so bad. I could not. It was like I was having like flashbacks of Final Fantasy 13 where I was like, how did this get made? And do people actually like this? What is going on? This is so... None of these decisions make sense. Like, for example, all of the worlds, especially the early ones, I don't know why this is... Like, they never looked back after kind of figuring out how to do world design in this game, but whatever. And even some of the later ones have the problem, where there's just massive, massive areas of just empty space. Nothing to happen. The Hunchback world is easily the worst offender of this. Just massive emptiness. Like the cathedral is way too big. All the chests are tiny little boxes. They're all super small, so you can't even see them from a distance sometimes, especially if you're in like the cathedral where it's super dark and it's not super easy to see, or like a shadow covers an entire box because you're also 85,000 feet away from it. They are so big, and like it wouldn't be a super big problem if there was stuff to like, I don't know, use flow motion off of or bounce off of so that you could maybe traverse these large areas very quickly. Nope, they are literally just empty spaces. Like there are some parts of the town in that world that are just giant squares of nothingness, and I have no idea why they thought that was okay. I have no idea why they thought that was a thing. These spaces are so big that you could be fighting an unversed... What are they? Dream Eater. You can be fighting a Dream Eater or an enemy. I'll just call them an enemy. You can fight an enemy, and as you are hitting them, and which is knocking them away, the ones behind you will despawn because you've gone too far from their spawn point, and they will despawn to the point where they'd had to. I always remember thinking when I first played it, like, oh, I like that. If you kind of cause some damage, and like say an enemy falls off a ledge and despawns because they get too far, they will respawn right where they're supposed to, but at the health total that they left off on. So you could do that. I think they had to do that because despawning was such an issue. I had never run into so much despawning problems in my life. Where they either had the range too small or the rooms were too big, because I think it was the rooms were too big, but like I kept running into this problem regardless of the shape of the room. So it's possibly a mix of both. but it was insane. The amount of times I'd be like fighting something, and then I'd turn around and everything was gone. I'd have to walk backwards and go take care of it. It was such a pain in the ass. The way they do abilities is atrocious. Most of them are attached to the Dream Eater pets that you have, which is so annoying. I don't understand. Because, like, you need, like, majority of them, like, 80% of them. There's, like, 3 purple ones. There's, like, maybe 9 red ones and, like, 13, and probably even more than that. There's way more of these, like, Dream Eater ones that you need to have a specific Dream Eater to have these abilities. Like, I would love if, as you level up a Dream Eater, you keep most of the abilities that they give you, so you can swap them out and try new things. But I had to have the bat that Riku started the entire time I played because I wanted Magic Haste, so I could get my spells faster. Nothing else I could get throughout most of my playthrough had as many Magic Haste as this stupid bat did, so I needed to have him in order to do most of the fights, because I wasn't recharging things fast enough. It was, because it's another command deck, like Birth by Sleep, so the moves have like a cooldown after you use them, and depending on what type they are, Attack Haste or Magic Haste will speed that up. I was primarily using Magic because it's very strong in that game, but even just like a Cure, which takes really long, like using Bloonra, which is a spell used a lot, like 900 times or something from the battle report, that's going to recharge faster than Curaga would, because Curaga is seen as a stronger move, as it heals you pretty much to full. So I would need Magic Haste so that I could get to my Curaga if I needed it. It was so, or I had to end up putting 2 Curagas because it was still not going fast enough. It was just such a nightmare. It was so poorly done. Everything is such a bad idea. The Dream Eaters are really dumb. They don't even really do anything. The companions you have, they're not, like, their AI doesn't even do anything, really. Sometimes they just stand there and take punches to the face. Like, I don't understand what you do. Like, why? You can have they have collision with your own. So I got the T-Rex eventually, and he was just knocking me off of buildings because he would, like, despawn and then have to respawn on top of me, but he's so massive that he would respawn and then just launch me to the right or the left based on where I was standing. It was so stupid. It kept happening. Or I would just get knocked off a ledge and be like, I guess I have to go back up there now because you decided to show up. Thanks. It was, oh my god, it's so poorly done. And like, I think what mostly it was when the first time I played it, I didn't really think too much about it because I was so curious about the story, because it was so, they had like leave a lot of mystery as you're leading up to it, and then they just do a massive like lore and story dump right at the end. But not knowing that and when that was, or even what they were talking about, was super exciting. Now knowing exactly what they're going to be talking about, what's going to be happening, it's so unfun because there's nothing to hook you up. There's nothing to keep you going. There's like, I guess this is just what we do now. Play this garbage, and it's super long. I took a picture of the battle report, so I can tell you. I think it was like 20 hours or something. So it's not like super duper long, but it wasn't particularly fun. Yeah, I did it in 1956. So almost 20 hours completely. And it was just so unbelievably boring. It was so bad. And I wasn't even like angry. I was just confused. Like something would happen, and I don't even know why you would think that was the thing you should do. Like, I think the reason they made the environment so big was because, like, oh, flow motion. But, like, what are you doing? Why would this be a thing? And, like, because I can't play on critical to unlock the secret movie at the end, which is incredibly important because it establishes, like, Kyrie being a Keyblade wielder and stuff, I had to do a specific amount of things to unlock the in-game trophies so that I could unlock the secret movie. So that restricted the way I played. So, like, one of them is use flow motion kill 1,000 enemies with flow motion. I had to use flow motion, which was just me jumping up, because if I rolled, I didn't hit the wall as consistently, so if I jumped and dashed into the wall, it was a lot easier. I don't know why. My air dash into the wall was more consistent than rolling into the wall. It was weird. So I would jump up, dash in the wall, then get sprung off the wall because of flow motion. I would then jump again, and then I would just do the ground pound flow motion move for probably close to 10 hours straight, maybe 12. It was insane. You just kept doing it. I had to keep doing it over and over again. Granted, it worked out, because I was able to do that for most of it, and then by the time I was done with that, I had enough balloon spells to just spam the crap out of that, and then just do that forever. And then it became even less interesting. And the thing that's also really annoying is you're never invincible for any of these super long attacks, or take less damage, or even just a little something. Just give me something, guys. Why do I have to, like, do this whole animation where I'm just, like, jumping straight up and then charging the Keyblade and then smashing it down? So there's like a 5, 8 second animation of you jumping off the wall and then attacking. And I can get hit that whole time. Why? It's so annoying. I don't know what they were doing. There's so many bad decisions in that game. And it's like not even worth it. But it's so important to the story, so it's necessary to be there, but there's nothing fun about it. And I had to do all this stupid stuff. And then it was over. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad this is done. Then I moved down to 0.2, which I enjoyed also the first time I played it. But I just played it on standard and like blew right through it. And I was like, oh, this is weirdly easy, but I'm on normal. So like, who knows? Maybe that's just why. And then, I was like, all right, I'll attempt this again. And I was like, I'll try it on critical. I hear it's really hard because they remove things, but we'll give it a shot. And it was tough. They get rid of Leaf Bracer, Combo Master. Leaf Bracer allowing you to heal yourself through attacks. So you get like invincibility frames while you're healing. Very helpful. Combo Master lets you or even if you miss a hit, the combo keeps going because usually it drops if you miss. What else do they get rid of? They get rid of something else. They give you like very little health. You have like very little MP. You have such a small MP bar. I think you can cast spells like 3 times and it's over. I forget what else they get. They take another thing away from you. I don't remember what it is, but like Combo Master and Leaf Bracer were super noticeable. I was like, oh man, this is not fun. This is very hard. It's just so brutal. You have so little MP. It's so crazy. Because like Aqua's very like magic heavy, and there's a lot of cool magic things you can do in that game, but it doesn't help. It's very hard. I have very, very bad habits from Leaf Bracer, where I would like, there was one time I was standing inside, because for some reason in 0.2, there's like no interesting enemy designs. It's pretty much just like this tower. It's like a wave of, they're called like demon tides or demon towers. I don't know what the difference is, but there's 2 different types. It's just a bunch of shadow enemies like in a big pillar, and they kind of like snake around. That's like the only boss you fight besides like a Shadow Aqua, which those fights are fun. The Shadow Aquas are she's really hard. Oh my God, that third one is so brutal. But yeah, it's like this weird, big tower of shadows. That's like mostly what you fight. And at one point I was standing inside of him, and I was like, I'm just going to heal. And then I got killed, and I was like, oh, wow, I've really, like, me thinking like, oh, I'm safe, because like I see Aqua begin the animation to heal herself. In which case, most of the time, I'd be totally fine. But I just didn't have, like, oh, I need to, like, break this habit now. I will not get through this, like, 4-hour playthrough because I'm so, like, used to playing this way. And eventually I started getting used to, like, not having these abilities. And I was like, okay, this is not impossible, but it's very hard. And it's very short, too. So I knew even if it was going to be brutal, at least I could accomplish something with that. And so I got through it. But it was honestly pretty fun to, like, kind of try this, like, super hard version of this game. So like it's cool. I enjoyed myself with that. And then eventually, like I think literally like the day before 3 came out, I finished it. So like last Sunday, I had finished 0.2 and I just had to wait a few more hours and then got to play Kingdom Hearts 3. And boy, not bad. It's actually not too bad. I was like shocked because like after 3D, I was like, oh my God, there's a real chance I have no fucking clue what they're doing. And like when these games do well and are fun, it is a complete accident, so who the fuck knows? And so, I was kind of nervous. So I'd finished, like, 3D, like, on Saturday, and then Monday was 3, so it's, like, finished 3D, finished 0.2 on Sunday, and then, like, I had to, like, wait a couple hours, and then I could play 3. And I was actually kind of glad that I had played all of them leading up to it, because when I got to 3, I will try to avoid major spoilers for 3 here, but we'll see what happens. When I had got to 3, it started off kind of slow, but I was like, both 1 and 2 both have very slow openings. Like your combat does not really blossom until a little bit later. So let's give it a chance. Let's not judge it immediately. This could be really good. And eventually it did totally fix it. Like you got enough abilities and movement and stuff, and it became fun again. And like they do, like a lot of your moves have like very very dramatic like gap closers. So like it's totally fine if you kind of get miss an attack or whatever. You get Combo Master very early, like I want to say like level 30 or something. So you can pretty much just like jump up, hit X, and Sora is gonna miss that first one and then just rock it to the enemy. It's like crazy how fast he goes. And everything's very quick, and like the transformations are super cool. The cool thing is I don't think when you do a Keyblade transformation, I don't think you can take damage, but you can definitely deal damage. So if you like are in the middle of a combo and then hit like triangle to like go into like one of my favorite transformations was the Pirates of the Caribbean one, the Wheel of Fate, you became Highwind, and you turned your Keyblade into a spear. But in the process of doing that, he would like stab the shit out of everything in front of him. It was super cool because you would just transform into the spear and then murder what was in front of you. It was awesome. And you could like kill people in the you could kill enemies with the transformation. It was super cool. Yeah, so like I was like, so it actually became like very fun, and it was a very enjoyable like experience the whole way through the story. It's a very long story. I think it was like, I think I have that time too. I written down. Let me see how long it took me to do that. I want to say like 40 hours. What do I have? 33, 44. So almost 35. So yeah, about 30, a little over 30. And 30 sounds right because I think I idled for about 3 hours without intentionally doing that. Because it used to be in one, I think it's in Kingdom Hearts 1, if you drop to the PlayStation menu, it doesn't add game time, but it did for this. I think at one point I dropped to the PlayStation menu and went to get like food, and then came back and I was like, oh, it just added 3 hours. So it's about 30 hours long. So it's like double the length of the first one, which you can get done. I got done in 15, and I did every world, and like I locked every world and everything. So it's about the same. So you can pretty much do it's 1 times 2 at that point, And I forget how long it took me to beat 2, but 2 is a little bit longer than 1, but I don't think it was that long. It definitely felt incredibly long. What does it have? Oh, it doesn't even give you your game time into 2's Battle Report. That's weird. That's a weird thing to miss. But yeah, it definitely felt super long. The worlds are massive. Massive. Oh, good lord. Some of them are so big. Like the Pirates one, the Caribbean, is just playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It is so unnecessarily big. You have a boat. You can go to like 9 different islands. There's a ton. Some of the islands are huge because you can go underwater. So like they'll have like these huge underwater caves and all. They're so big. It's so intimidating because like I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to get as many chests as I can, get all the lucky emblems, which is like they had like hidden Mickeys like they do in like the Disney parks, and you could take pictures of them. And if you took certain amounts of them, you got like pretty good equipment. And so I was just kind of finding them casually, and then I got like a ribbon like really early. I was like, oh fuck, I need to be like really focusing on these. Like these are amazing. So then I really started like pushing for them and trying to find them all, and I got a couple other good things while doing it. I didn't find all of them though because this is a huge game, and I had opened at one point. I had like 6 chests I had not found in the Caribbean, and I was like, I do not want to go find the rest of these because I have no idea where I was. Like, because once I realized how big it was, I was searching every nook and cranny to make sure I wouldn't miss anything, so I would never have to come back because it was so big. And if I missed one thing, who the fuck knows where it was? So I ended up watching a video that like showed where each one was because I was just like, I can't. It's going to take me another like 3 hours just to go to each one of these and scour every inch of this. It's so big. It was insane. And San Francisco, the one from Big Hero 6. I never know how to pronounce that. Also, marginally big. It felt way bigger the first time I got there. Now that I'm more familiar with it and have explored it a ton trying to find chests and lucky emblems, it's not that big. When I first got there, I was like, am I just in a city? Like, is there a limit to this? Like, I can see there's a couple parts where they're like, don't go here. But the actual like story, like the story mode for that world was very well like guided. So it felt like it was massive. You never went to the same area twice. It just felt really big. And that's probably because it has like a daytime, nighttime mode. So you did some stuff in daytime and it would switch to nighttime. So it would feel like a different area all of a sudden. But now that I'm like familiar with it, it's actually very small, but it felt at the first time like absolutely humongous. So I was like, I cannot believe I have all of this to explore and all of this to go through and all these streets, and it was crazy. It's very big though. It's still large. It's just not as big as I thought it was. Like the Caribbean is actually legitimately too big. I don't understand. It's so big. There's so much ocean between each island, and each island can be so big. Some of them are small, but most of them are huge. It's crazy. It's so nuts how big that fucking world is. And then like stuff like Arendelle, the Frozen one, not a huge fan of because I get lost so easily. Monsters Inc. 2, I get lost in that one so easily. And like I know, like at one point like, I was doing all this, I platinumed the game. I should probably point that out too. So I have 100%ed it, or at least what they believe to be 100%. There's a few things I could do, I guess, additionally, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Like get my gummy ship to 99 if I like. Why would I don't even know why I'd want to do that, but I could. It's like at 80 or something. I'm not far, but I don't really want to do it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like I had platinumed it, and one of the processes of platinuming it was I had to make every single item in the synth shop, and to create everything. And a couple of times I would see like, oh, here's the recipe of the things I need. Like at one point I need a lot of like sinister shards or something. I need some one of the unversed drops. I forget which one. I was like, I know where to get that. It's in Monstropolis. I have no, and I know what room these things spawn in, but I have no idea how to get there, because like it does like the thing from the movies where you jump in certain doors and you travel to a different area or whatever. And so I'm like, I've been there. I know exactly what room this is. I can picture it in my head. I have no idea how to get there, because I just have no idea. Like, it's so confusing. Once anything that's separated by the door vault, it just becomes so confusing. And so like still barely have an understanding of where I'm supposed to go. And the same way I'm with the Arendelle, because everything is just a snowy mountain. So I'm like, I know the area. I know which enemy this must drop this thing, but I have no idea how to get there, because it's all just a big white snowfield, and it's very confusing. If it's not in that labyrinth, I'm still confused. Sometimes the doors to certain rooms just close, and I have no idea how to open them, and I have no idea why they just close. I don't know what it is. I was doing it today, trying to get to the battle gate, which is like their little challenges or whatever, to just find something. I think I needed a material, and I eventually used that same battle gate to hit 99. But I had to like go into an area. I'd like get to this room, and I'd walked into this other room by accident, and I turned around to go to the other room, and the door was closed to this thing, the room I needed to get to. And I was like, I don't even know how to get to the other side of this room, so I had to leave. I had to like teleport out and then teleport back in from like, to go to a different save point or whatever, just to like figure out where the hell I was. So confusing. I still don't understand how that works. But yeah, it was really fun, like going through the whole thing and seeing everything work out. And like it actually is well balanced with like upgrades and stuff. It had weapons are really good. You can upgrade weapons, which I love so much. It's from the phone game. They introduced that, and I was hoping so much that they would keep that. The only thing I wish is when you got to level 10, it changed appearance. I think that would have been super cool, because it does that in the phone game. Is once you hit a certain threshold, that was a weird way to say that, it will like physically change its appearance. It'll get flashier. It'll add a bunch of details to it or whatever, and it'll start very simple. Like the Starlight Keyblade is the one that you got if you did all the Mickey video game things in the phone game. What are they called? Doesn't matter. Classic Kingdom. That's what they're called. So once you do all those in the phone game, you would get this Keyblade. If you had past a certain point threshold, you could download this Keyblade. And it was very good. It was just better than the Kingdom Key objectively. I don't even know why. That was a thing. But yeah, it would just beat out the Kingdom Key, which is a better version of it. But that's the base version of what you end up getting, and it looks a lot different once you upgrade it. It changes its appearance drastically. So like the version I have in the phone game does not look anything like the version I have in Kingdom Hearts 3. And I was hoping that it would at least go to like the second tier, because that's the very first one. I was kind of hoping we get to see some other Keyblades that have like cool transformations, but we don't. They all just kind of they all stay exactly the same. And that kind of sucks. But you get to upgrade, and I think it's just fun. I enjoy doing that. They add sometimes once you hit certain thresholds, it would add abilities and stuff like that. It was super cool. The Ever After, the Tangled one, is super fucking strong. It's so good. It has like this cool thing where you can every time you dodge roll, it would leave an after image, and you could do up to 4 times. So I would like dash in like a cube, and then have 4 clones, and then every time you hit X, they all shoot in the same direction. So I would just like dash really quick 4 times and just shoot a bunch of lasers at it. It was super cool. I used it for so long, and then eventually I got the Wheel of Fate, I believe is the name of the Caribbean Keyblade, and then that one was super good. It was like that version but physical damage. It was super cool, and I've since upgraded every Keyblade just to see how each one like plays out. And the one Keyblade that shocked me is there's one you get from doing all of the Classic Kingdom minigames. Classic Tone, I think it's called. I think maybe that's one of those transformation. I forget what the name of it is. But you get it for doing all the Classic Kingdom minigames, and it's super good. It's amazing, and like I wish I knew that. Like if I've ever played the game again, I might just like try to keep up, because all you have to do for the Classic Kingdom games, which I had like avoided them like the plague when as I was unlocking them, because I hated them on the phone game. And I knew when I was playing on the phone game, like, they're going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3. There's definitely going to be something hidden behind them. I thought it was going to be the Starlight Keyblade, so like I can probably just avoid doing that for as long as you can. And eventually, I'll get to them, but it'll be much easier because I'll have actual buttons, not touchscreen. Because a couple times I was playing the phone game versions, I would like fuck up something because it just didn't register my thumb press or something, and it would just be like, all right, I shouldn't have lost this life here, but whatever. It was frustrating, it was annoying, I didn't like it, but I was like, oh, whatever. So it got a little better with buttons, but also you only need to get a new high score, but there are no high score sets. As long as you get 1 point in each one, you're good. You might even be able to just pass on what you do at once, but I'm not sure. I didn't do that, so I wasn't like I just wanted to try to get through most of them as best I could, and then clear it out and just be done. I was fucking finished finally. And then now once I upgraded that keyblade all the way, I was like, oh, that's actually, it's the only one that has a stat of 14. Like the ultimate weapon it's 2 13s, it's 13 strength, 13 magic, but it has air combo boost, and reaction boost or something. I forget, or situation boost. There's no reaction boost. That's the one thing I really miss. Is I love reaction commands since since going to 3. Because like it makes fighting nobody so cool. They all have such cool ones. Not all of them, I guess, but most of them. Like Gamblers is really lame, but like Warp Shot for the snipers, where you just teleport and kick the laser beam into their face. It's so cool. The Dragoons having Learn, so you can use Jump on them. It's so cool. Some of them are so cool, and they just don't have that in this one. It's not a thing. You just have to you just don't do it. So you just kind of have to dodge when you see a sniper shooting you or something. It's kind of lame. It's not as fun. The transformations are cool. I enjoy them. I think they're neat too. So like it kind of makes up a little bit, but combat is fun a lot. My biggest complaint is the post game is non-existent. All it really does is add these 14 battle gates, which are like these little blue portals that look like the things from 3D. Those portals. They were pink in that game though. I don't know what the blue ones were in that game, if there even were blue ones. And so you go in, you fight like a bunch of enemies, and it's over, and you leave. It's actually really good for leveling and getting certain synth materials, but it's just kind of boring. It's like not that interesting. And then there's a secret boss at the 14th one. So you do the 13 to get the secret reports. They're like, usually you always get like a report, which is like a couple little blurb from, it kind of does like some story details and explains some stuff. So you get those if you do the first 13 of them. And then the 14th is in the last world, and it's like I've seen most people been calling him a secret boss because he's so easy. There's no way he's a super boss. There's just no way. He's a fucking chump. You can just crush him so easily. I walked in by accident. I was like, I wonder what this is. I was like at level 60, had like nothing really set up, went in, one-shotted him. I was like, oh, there were some cool things he did, but at no point did I have to like really stop and think. Like twice I stopped to throw like a potion because I was still charging some MP. And after I did everything in this game, I went back and fought him, and I had max equipment, max level, and max on the best weapon or whatever. And I just didn't even have to use Cure once. I just ran at him like nonstop. He's terrible. He's just a secret boss, but he's not even that secret. You just have to, if you just see the one cube on your way to the last boss, if you happen to leave and want to walk your way through or whatever, you'd be like, oh, hey, here's this thing. It's really lame. I wish there was a way more, because the combat is super cool, and like I like getting the best stuff, but there's no reason to use it. Like I know I was talking to someone, and they were like, hey, well, there's only Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 2 when the game first came out. I was like, yeah, that's true, but he was like hard. Like you had to like prepare for him. I like accidentally found this guy and like crushed him. Like it wasn't like I didn't like run into him and go, oh fuck, I need to like come back and get ready. I like walked up and like I was like, oh, this one's the only 3-star one I've seen. I'll try this one. Oh, okay. And like, he gave you pretty cool equipment. Like he gave you, I think, an accessory that was super strong. But like, what was the point? Like I have nothing to use him on. And the Final Fantasy 12 has that problem where like a lot of the best stuff, it's like there's nothing to use it on once you get it. Like there's no reason. And like I was kind of hoping we get some kind of post game, because like Final Fantasy 15 had like all those dungeons. Like they had bonus dungeons from all the back room of all the dungeons, or whatever those were. I forget what they were called. The vault dungeons or something. And like some of them were lame, but like, and they were just hallways. But others were like cool, or like the one you couldn't use items, and like they had that weird jump puzzle dungeon, which was not that fun because the platforming was terrible in that game. But at least it had that. And then there was like 3 different super bosses, and there was like stuff to do. This was like just cleanup. Like I beat the game, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna get the platinum, like all I gotta do is like find the rest, like the 10 chests I'm missing, the few lucky emblems I'm missing, finish the synthesis, fight the 2 separate super bosses from the space thing, the gummy ship. Like there's 2 really hard gummy ship fights, but that's not fun. Those are boring. Those are holding R2 and just spinning your joystick around, hitting square as you dash back and forth. It's really boring. It's not fun. Yeah, like those are the super boss achievements, or the trophies. They're like, kill these things and this thing, or the one is a super boss, and then the one you had to do for the ultimate weapon. But again, there's nothing to use the ultimate weapon on. There's no reason to have it. Like you get it because you can get it, and it's like, I wonder what this looks like, and okay, it was cool. And it was just like, and like there was no reason for me to upgrade every Keyblade. Like I wish that was a trophy. Like why was that not? Like it wasn't like that. It didn't add that much time. I had maybe like a half hour of me like occasionally flying around. Like when I was in gummy space, I would just shoot out the rocks for a little while to get the materials to upgrade Keyblades. It was like, it's bananas. It's so silly. That's like one complaint. It's like a really good game, and there's just nothing to do. It like lets you really see the game push. There's no critical mode, which I kind of wish there was. There's like nothing to let you really push the mechanics to its limits. Like that's always the thing I enjoy about like 1 and 2. You play on the harder difficulties. 1 doesn't have critical, but it does what it has to. It's still kind of tough, and you get to see like, okay, I need to learn this fight. I need to learn these mechanics. I need to learn what's good, what's not. Like there are abilities in 2 that are objectively terrible. So you want to take them off. You want to use something else. You want to do a different. You want to like you want to use something and go, that seems bad. Let me figure out if I need that. And you try it in another fight. Oh, yeah, this ability is bad. I've already missed this twice or something, There's a couple, like, Keyblade modifiers. What is it? I forget they are. Like, Slapshot, for example, is not great because it can whiff. So you're like, I don't want this. Every time I see this move come out, it's not hitting, so I probably don't want to use this, so I'll take it off. There's that one where, like, Sora kind of like jumps around and swings the Keyblade in like an X pattern. That one's terrible. That one's so bad. And so I was like, I don't want this. So like you turn them off, you try to figure out what you need, what you don't need. And like that happens in 3, but it's like to the extent of like, I don't ever want to see an attraction flow. So I'm going to make sure I never have a traction flow extender on, or traction extender. Like, I don't want that. Those are terrible. It's like weird. It's like small things. It don't really matter that you want to turn off and change and do stuff. So it's like, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, everyone's kind of talking like, oh, they'll do a DLC thing. Something will happen. There'll be more. Don't worry. Like, I don't doubt that. I imagine, and then Nomura did say recently that he was going to do, if he was going to do DLC, he's going to do one big DLC drop, and then they're going to move on to the next game. They don't really want to stay. They've been on 3 for too long. They want to move on. But if they do need to do something, they would do that. And if they were going to do DLC, they would do it that way. Not like Final Fantasy 15, where it's been a year-long release of DLC where I have the platinum, but my percentage of trophies is like 50% or something, because there's like literally another game's worth of content that they released later. So if they were to do that, they would, add critical mode or add whatever and make you have to do, like, it's like the secret boss is not as hard as the final boss. That's the kind of shit we're dealing with here. Like, it's just not that fun. In terms of combat, like, it's no real challenging combat fight. There's no real cool. It's just a lot of collecting, a lot of minigames in this one. Like, usually it's just pretty much delegated to like the Pooh book, and like maybe occasionally there'll be a minigame here or there, like a Tron light cycle minigame or something, whatever. But I feel like there's just a lot of like minigames that are like, maybe it's about the same. I don't even know. And I'm thinking about it too. It has like a minigame per world, right? Like, even if some of them are just like the skateboarding one twice, or 3 times, 4 times. How many times does the skateboarding one show up? I don't know. But like, it's just, there's so many. It's just so, and the Pooh book minigames are terrible. It's all the same game over and over again. It's some weird match 4 thing where you like ricochet fruits and vegetables and flowers depending on which game you're playing and try to match them up, and it's not that fun. I don't know. It's like one of the only ways you get like ingredients. The fucking chef thing, the bistro, the ratatouille minigame is so difficult. The egg one is so hard. You have to like push both left and right joysticks away to separate the egg, and then as it's separated enough, you hit L2 and L1 and R1. But my hands are dumb, so sometimes I'll hit L2, L1 and R1, my thumbs move, and I fucking break the egg, and I'm like, I have to restart the game because I don't have enough ingredients to try this a second time. It was so annoying. Like, to get all of those at excellent, it was so hard. There's some of them, and then there's like the easy one that's like the chopping knife one is so easy. It's like not even, I don't even understand how that one's a challenge. Like, even like, how do you fail that? I don't get it. It's so dumb. Those are unbelievably hard. I'm so glad I never do them again. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 is cool. I just hope we see a little bit more. Or if we don't, we see them kind of like, the thing I've come to conclusion with is that everyone's always blamed the Osaka team for like a recent downward trend since 2005, 2006, whenever Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. Which is true, because they moved Kingdom Hearts from Tokyo office to the Osaka office, and then the games have never been that great since. They've been kind of There's always like a very glaring problem with each one or whatever. Like Command X or whatever. Like, this doesn't work. This is really broken. Very easy to abuse. So, everyone's always been concerned. Like, I think the Osaka team is terrible. I don't know. But now we're starting to see that, like, that's not the case. Like, they know what they're doing. It seems like the reason their games are terrible is because they're being forced onto handhelds, and Kingdom Hearts shouldn't be on a handheld because it doesn't work on a handheld. So Please get it away from handhelds. And luckily, all handhelds are dead now, so maybe we can just move on console games only. And they clearly know what they're doing. They can put a decent game together. It's fun, it's a good time. So we'll see where it's all going, how things are working. Hopefully we'll get like another solid entry. Just it's fun, it's a good time. Who knows? I don't know what the fuck's going on. As long as it plays well and is not a total nightmare to get through. It's not like a bajillion hours long, and they never are. They're never that long. The difficulty has been the one consistent concern I've heard from everyone about 3. It's just too easy. So maybe they've learned that now. They have a better idea. It'd be kind of nice if they put out a critical mode for 3 as like a test of like, do we know how to do this? Can we do it well? Because like they were, I understood why they had to make some of those cuts for abilities in 0.2 because it would just be too easy. Because you already start with like top level magic and all that stuff, so it'd be a little too hard or too easy if you could just, continue to cure through everything or had a bunch of NP or whatever. So like they have to make sure they balance it correctly. Because the way whenever it's balanced well, critical, is you take more damage, but you deal more damage than you would in any other difficulty. Except for beginner, usually you deal the most, but you deal more damage and you take more damage, and like it's a good trade off, and then you can work around that. And so as long as they figure it out and understand what they're doing, we'll get a good game. We'll get like they'll figure out critical, they'll understand how to balance it, they'll know what they're doing, and they'll hopefully we continue to see, the games do well and play well and are fun to do, and we get cool super bosses, we get cool content. So, all right, I've been talking about an hour about all the Kingdom Hearts games, but it's all I've been doing for like a month now. That's why I haven't done an episode in so long, because I was rushing to get all of them done so I could get to 3, and I just finished 3, the platinum, like a couple hours ago. So I'll probably be platinuming 2 and 1. I don't know why I said that way. I guess I'll do it I'll go to 2 and I'll go to 1. Probably that's why my brain is putting it in that order. Or maybe I'll go the other way. I don't know. I feel like I should play them in descending order so that I because right now I'm used to kind of faster combat. So if I play 2 and then go to 1, it'll be a little bit easier transition than to go to 1 and then go to 2 and go, oh my God, it's so fast. So I should probably do it that way. But I do want to platinum those 2 again. Because I enjoyed getting those because it's just fun. It's fun to do those things. I enjoy like the data orgs and stuff. So hopefully we'll see some cool stuff. Hit up with 3. I don't know what their plans are for DLC. They're always kind of secretive until it kind of happens, and it's like, oh, here's how it works. And you're like, all right, cool, thanks. But I do hope we do kind of see a final mix where it's kind of a rebalancing, a reinterpretation of the whole thing, adding critical, that kind of stuff. New bosses, new whatever, better post-game. But yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. I give it like an 8 out of 10. I'd say like fucking like 2 is like a solid 9 or 10. I enjoy that game. 9.5. It's a good game. It's got some things that are weird, but I think it's just because it's older. Like not being able to use your menu on the world map. That's like weird, but whatever. I think I'm just used to the newer games letting you do that, and I was just like, oh, I guess I can't. That's weird. Why would I not be able? Like I kind of want to switch keyblades before the next world, but all right. Yeah, so small things like that where it's like, oh, this is kind of dating it. You can see it getting older. It's aging. It's not as old as like 1 where you're like, oh boy, this is old. This feels old. It's just getting there. It still plays like a goddamn, I don't know, champ. I don't know what I'm saying. But 3 does as well. I'm just upset now that I'm done with 3 in all of its. I wish it was longer. I wish it didn't take 55 hours to 100% it. I wish it took a little bit longer because 1 and 2 can take up to like 100 if you're not familiar. If you don't know where everything is, you're learning the game and stuff. It can take forever. And this one's just like, kind of just banged it out. It's like super easy. So that stinks. But that's all I'm going to do for this week. It's very dark in this room. I started with the sun out, and now the sun is gone. So now I'm sitting here in the dark. The glow of my monitor lighting my face. So I should probably turn around and turn this light on. And but yeah, so that's fun. Kingdom Hearts, good. I enjoyed 3. It was a good time. Yeah, we'll try to do some stuff soon. Get some more going. Now that I'm like, it's weird. I've been like waited for like so long for this game. Like I remember, and the weird thing is like when I was driving to pick up Kingdom Hearts 3, a memory hit me from when I was like, oh my God, I probably was at most 11. And I was in my elementary school library talking to my one friend who was about a fan of, he was like the one who kind of showed me Kingdom Hearts. And we were talking about the secret ending from 2, The Gathering. I hadn't seen it yet, and he was explaining it to me, and he goes, this is what Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be like. And Sora's going to die, and this is going to happen. About like the Roxas, or the Ventus thing where he gets, he gets frozen by Xehanort and falls off the thing. And he's like, when his helmet cracks, you see his face, and it kind of looks like Sora. And I was like, what? That's what 3? That's so weird. And I was in like maybe 5th grade, 4th grade when this conversation was happening. I was 10 or 11. And this was, we were thinking 3 was next. It was right around the corner. And then it didn't happen until I was 25. So like, it's crazy. It's like, it's finally here. It's finally happened. But like, now it's done. Now it's over. Like, of all the games that were like never going to happen, Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian, whatever, that we have now, I didn't have like such a long wait for them. I didn't care for that long. For this game, I've cared for most of my life, and it's finally here. It's done, and it's like, okay, it's over. We got it. We did it. We did everything. It's not bad. It's not like a nightmare. Like, I'm not upset. Like, it's cool, and it's like a weird feeling of like, oh, it's on to the next. Like, it's so it's weird. It's weird though to have like that done. After waiting for so long, it's finally finished. So that's cool. I don't know. I'd like to boot it up again, but I have nothing to do. There's no fucking Coliseum matches. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do in that game. All I can do is fucking slap the really weak boss again and again. There's nothing to do. So I don't want to do more gummy ship stuff, so I won't. So I won't be playing that. I'll probably put in 2 and just try to clean up some of the 2 trophies. I was in the middle of doing that, like the Monday before, or that Monday of 3's release. I picked up at 9, so like I was playing it during the day or whatever, waiting for that game to come out. Right before I left to go play it or to pick it up, I was playing some 2 just to clear some stuff, get some stuff. So I'll probably play 2 just for fun because it's a good game. But 3 is also good, so all is right in the world. All is right. Yeah. So that's this one. I don't know what number this is. It's been too long. I was so distracted with this. I've just neglected all responsibilities. So there's that. Yeah. So that's that. Thanks for listening. Go play your Kingdom Hearts favorite one, whatever it is. Enjoy it. Hopefully there's a lot of post games, so you have more to do. But yeah, all right. Thanks for listening. Love and kisses.